My name is Kayvon Pirestani. I represent Coinbase's institutional business for Asia. I'm based in Tokyo. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you for coming. And today I'm going to host a panel discussion entitled Gatekeepers, Crypto Exchanges. And the theme Gatekeepers really revolves around the recognition that crypto exchanges today in the crypto space play a really important role of determining what investors can access the markets and what projects and asset issuers can list on those markets. So it's a really crucial part of the ecosystem. And so it's important that we understand the trends, what challenges that the crypto exchanges are facing. So let's start off by letting the panelists introduce themselves. Maybe we'll start on our left here with you, Teddy. If you could give a brief intro about yourself, your role at the firm, and then a little bit about what your exchange is all about, with maybe an emphasis on what sets you apart from the other players on the stage here.
Sure. My name is Ted. I'm the Chief Growth Officer at Binance. What we do is we develop partnerships and look for opportunities for future growth. So nothing that is right away in terms of user acquisition because that's marketing, but we're looking for the next catalyst, perhaps emerging markets, perhaps new features, perhaps new ways to add value to our existing users. Another thing we're looking for is, for example, education, the way to bring more people from the non-crypto into the crypto. So one thing that stands out in terms of Binance compared to the fellow panelists here is that even though we're well known for exchange, most of the initiatives right now and a lot of the effort we're putting in is not just exchange related. We're looking to expand the overall pie of how crypto can influence the lives of people around the world instead of just exchange. That would be the biggest difference. Thanks.
Okay, Jasper.
So yeah, I'm Jasper, Managing Director for eToro Asia. So I think we all coming from a bit different background. eToro is actually coming from an online trading network that offer multi-asset class to people in the world, right, basically. So we offer stock, FX, ETF, commodities. We're probably the very few trading platform that offer real stock and real crypto at the same time. And we also have this social function that people can actually follow each other's. We transparent each other's portfolio. People can actually copy each other's. Right now we have 10 million users on the platform. They can talk to each other and follow, right? So we've been engaged in crypto business already 4 years. We are recently launched, our crypto offering in US, and recently also tried to offer, this credit card fiat buying on our wallet. So I think the whole purpose of eToro is try to make, our investors access to different trading class easily. So this is, what we do.
My name is Chris Lee. I'm the CFO of Huobi Group. So Huobi is one of the leading global exchange. So we got fiat to token and token to token, and also derivative that future. We're one of the top tier future exchange, forward contract exchange in the world. And also we have most comprehensive ecosystem in Asia Pacific, especially in China. Huobi Pool is a pool mining company, one of the top 10 globally as well. So we also include education called Huobi University, and also we have instant message called Huobi Chat. So we basically were surrounded to provide the best ecosystem, have a built infrastructure education for the blockchain ecosystem in Asia Pacific. Hopefully we expand to the world. And also we are fully compliant. We do lots of compliance local exchange. So we're the only one foreign resident owned the 90% exchange in Japan. And we are also Gibraltar licensed exchange as well. We got office in London, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Hong Kong, Singapore, San Francisco, and we embrace the blockchain. We try our best to promote this blockchain ecosystem in the world. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Karen from Coinsuper. So compared with the previous ones just introduced, we're a little bit younger in tenure. The things make our different is, the first is we have a team combined of bankers like myself, risk managers, and super talented engineers. The second thing is we probably are the first of the industry having the capabilities to do deposit and withdrawals in both US dollar and Hong Kong dollars. So as an exchange based in Hong Kong, we are very proud and happy to see the recent move of the regulators in Hong Kong. I think having the right protection and transparency of the infrastructure will help the industry players and particularly our customers to enjoy a safer and healthy environment to support the industry growth.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex Wearn. I'm co-founder and CEO of IDEX. We are known as the top decentralized exchange, the largest by volume, users, transactions, pretty much any measure. That's still small compared to the other centralized exchanges that are here on the panel here with me. What differentiates us is a focus on the non-custodial aspect of cryptocurrency trading. So in order to trade on IDEX, you don't have to send your cryptocurrency to a third party, to an account that they control. You actually manage everything using a private key and a smart contract throughout the entire process. And we think this is really in line with what cryptocurrency is about, decentralizing the, in this case, custody, the risk, and all the components actually using these blockchain bearer assets in the way they were designed to be used, rather than pooling them all together within a central third party in order to trade them. The other piece is around kind of leveraging this aspect of our design, the fact that we're using a smart contract for custody and settlement, to create a more open platform. So we're actually building out our exchange to have components of it controlled and operated by those in our community, again, in the interest of increasing transparency, redundancy, and resiliency.
Okay, thanks guys. Well, let's go ahead and dive right in, starting with one of the most interesting topics at the moment, which is decentralized exchanges, specifically Teddy. There's a lot of buzz around what Binance may be doing in this space. I understand that your technology and your business model is a little bit different from the existing decentralized exchanges out there. Do you mind touching on what it is you're going to be bringing to market and how it's different?
Sure. So right now we have the Binance chain that's launching soon. The decentralized exchange that is based on Binance chain is in testnet mode. We're targeting to launch the mainnet before the end of April. So what it is we're looking at the existing blockchains in the ecosphere and find that most of the time, crypto so far has been used to issue token, raise money, go on to exchanges for secondary listing, and for transfer or possibly payment and remittance. The existing infrastructures are not able to sustain high-speed transaction or high-speed trading in terms of the decentralized exchange application. So this is what we intended to change with the Binance chain. So it is designed from the ground up, and it will be fast enough to sustain and process all the transactions on the current Binance.com centralized exchange. That's how fast it will be. And it will be a 1-second block, and one confirmation is final. So this is the kind of design we have, and we hope to let there to be more choices in the ecosphere about what token standard people can use to issue their token. That's the Binance DEX. So hopefully you can try the test right now, and we'll be launching very soon.
Thank you, Teddy. So, Alex, I want to give you a chance to respond to that, right? So he mentioned some of the limitations in the existing sort of decentralized exchange space. Can you address some of the points he raised? And more broadly, how do you feel about such a big and successful player like Binance coming in and playing on your turf effectively?
Yeah, so a couple of thoughts. So he mentioned faster block times, the scalability of the underlying chain. I think that's a smart approach to look at the capabilities of the underlying network, because that is a big limiting factor of decentralized exchanges today. But we actually don't feel that that's going to be enough. We actually think that the best approach is a hybrid design, one which brings most of the activity off-chain, so that you don't even have to worry about 1-second block times. You have instant finality that traders demand and market makers want in order to use the platform, but you're still settling and using the underlying blockchain for custody. So that's kind of our approach, that's our design. The other part being that it can be replicated on any number of blockchains. So we aren't in the interest of picking a particular winner in terms of underlying blockchains. Ethereum, EOS, Algorand, there's a lot of different ones coming out. We actually get really excited about some of the interoperability chains because that's where we're really focused in the future is bringing our high-performant hybrid architecture to a chain that can trade every single cryptocurrency from Bitcoin to anything new that's being launched. I do think the Binance chain is really interesting. I can't speak for Ted, but it seems that it's minor leagues for cryptocurrencies. You give teams an opportunity to create a token very easily, launch it on the Binance chain, and if there's activity, if there's interest, if there's consumers, you can kind of promote it to the big leagues of Binance.com. So I think that's a really smart strategy from that perspective to court projects in that way. But I definitely think we're going after a different approach to fundamentally building out what we believe is the future of non-custodial trading.
Got it. Thanks, guys. Let's turn to another topic which I think is really relevant at the moment in crypto today, which is derivatives. So virtually every major crypto spot exchange I've spoken to in the past 3 months is involved in bringing a derivatives product or a derivatives market to the market. And so I'd like to ask you guys about what you're thinking. Chris, let's start with you. You mentioned that Huobi already has a successful derivatives market. Tell us a little bit about how much that success has contributed to the overall success of Huobi, how important derivatives is to your strategy, and how you see the growth potential there.
In reality, if you're a traditional investment world, derivative actually is the largest sector among the traditional investment world. That's the fact. And what we believe is Huobi should be a comprehensive one-stop shop of like exchange. We should have a fiat channel, token, and the derivative for some forward contracts and or the futures. At the moment now, we all together, thanks for the contribution of transaction of the future, called Huobi derivative markets and also Huobi Global, all add together, we solve the #1 globally in terms of transaction. So, and another thing is you could provide a comprehensive kind of tool solutions for the investors, especially like institutional investors, and the investor want hedging, and also take the speculative with leverage kind of function. I think it's a very crucial part if you want to have a comprehensive solutions, investment opportunity provided to the investors. So I can see that many exchange provide such service, the derivative service. So in long run, maybe the other option is another investment opportunities for older exchange as well.
Got it. Okay, well, Jasper and Karen, I want to give you guys an opportunity to tell us about any plans that you guys might have in the derivative space.
Okay, I'll go first. And so actually, eToro been running also the CFD business, which is also a high leverage in the point, right? So we can offer 200 times leverage on FX and other indices, for example. So definitely offering higher leverage provide a chance for clients to trade the market, even though the market is not like bullish. Even though a ranging market, people can profitable through the ranging market using less capital on that. It's definitely a good revenue generator for the exchange or the company itself, right? But we also need to bear in mind that the high leverage trading come into a lot of potential problems as well. Like, for example, it's actually very difficult to offer very high leverage on crypto because of the liquidity issue. So you see some of the players in the market, they actually implement a lot of different limitation on trading compared to the traditional financial world. Mm-hmm. So, to us, like we definitely, even now, like we are offering time 2, time 5 leverage on crypto. But go more than that, it can be very risky. I think it's a trend, but people need to give a second thought on that, offering the high leverage.
We won't be seeing 200x leverage from eToro on crypto anytime soon.
Never. Yep.
Got it. Karen, what about you?
Very quickly, I think for derivative is very important for anything if it is treated as asset class. However, for cryptos, we think the moment there's the two issues. One is the trust issue, and second is the liquidity issue. From our point of view, from pure technical point of view, we have developed our derivative capabilities internally a few months ago, but we put on hold on launching it. The reason is we think just for ourselves, there's still a number of things to do as more priority. For example, on the customer segment side, we think that there are still majority retail customers in the crypto world. And the wave of institutions, professional investors, they are moving, but still has their concern and hesitation. So we try to understand and serve that part of needs as our current main priority. That's why we upgraded our services and platform, focusing on the needs such as more advanced API, and their proprietary analytics tools, different order types, safety on the custody side, etc. So once we build that, we may have more confidence to offer more products.
I see. Thank you, guys. Let's switch gears a little bit now and talk about some of the challenges facing the crypto exchange space. Specifically, right now we're in the midst of this crypto winter. Trading volumes are down dramatically. Prices are down. It's a lot harder to make money, even if you're a successful crypto exchange, than it was, say, 1 year ago. So what are the areas of growth that a crypto exchange can look to try and continue to grow the business? Now let's start with the concept of one of these ecosystem coins. Now Binance has been very successful with their BNB coin, and I wonder to what extent the rest of the panel looks at that and desires sort of to replicate some of that success. Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
The first thing is for all the projects, if they can move forward for the industry, we should be happy about that. So I mean, congratulations to the Binance. And in reality, for Huobi, we also have a Huobi token as well. So for Huobi Prime service, we're going to launch in the end of March, very, very soon. And in reality, back to like 1.5 years ago, probably, we already have such service already. But that actually is not a new one. So we simply, because we are more like compliance kind of concern, especially our customer need as well. So we follow the different approach. But based on the Huobi token, we have our own ecosystem kind of thing. And also we do have like, if you got Huobi token, and also we get a Huobi mining pool as well, can generate extra income for the investors and also benefit by the exchange as well. And in reality, we are probably among all the exchanges, we're only one provide Huobi chat. It's instant message kind of I am product, and we have more than 1 million users already. So that's we have differentiated to other exchange.
I see. Thank you. Teddy, let's ask you for a sec. So I know that you're looking at this decentralized exchange space and many other spaces, but traditionally, one of the main engines of growth for you has been the ICO space, right? And now there's a lot of people saying that the ICO market is dead. It's going to be all about STOs. How do you think about that sort of narrative? Is that something you buy into?
I mean, ICO was always about fundraising for entrepreneurs who were serious about doing startups. Somewhere along the way, kind of had a different spin to it. It became, for some people, a get rich quickly scheme. And people who raised money are not necessarily focused on their projects all the time. So that's why sometimes it had a bad vibe to it. What we're doing is more like an IEO, so initial exchange offering. That's our launch pad. We believe entrepreneurs with great ideas to change the world should always be helped in one way or the other. And that is the platform we're using to help the entrepreneurs get access to funding in a very sensible way. Once the projects raise the money, they do not get the money right away. The crypto actually is locked on Binance and given to them in installments. And they have to show product delivery and milestones before they get back the raised crypto in installments. So that's one of the ways we protect the users who participate in Launchpad, and also continue to facilitate in what we believe in strongly, which is give the entrepreneurs a great chance. So ICO, IEO, or whatever, it's always going to be helping entrepreneurs raise money to do their thing.
Got it. And where does that leave you vis-a-vis security tokens specifically? Is that a space you think you've been
We're definitely looking at it very closely.
Got it. Thank you. Let's go back over to you, Alex, in talking about what it means to be a decentralized exchange searching for growth. I imagine it's quite different than the other folks on the stage. How do you think about that?
So in many ways, we have a lot more opportunities for growth because of the limitations of decentralized exchanges today. So one of the things, we're only built on the Ethereum network. We started there because that's where the smart contract capabilities existed and where there was a large set of kind of asset availability. So the first question, though, is then how do you expand beyond Ethereum to other smart contract platforms, as well as other, call it top cryptos, things like Bitcoin, Litecoin, EOS, things that are on another blockchain. So that's one area that we're really interested in. It's going to be these kind of interoperability chains. To your point about derivatives, we're seeing the launch of derivative assets that use collateral in order to mirror other assets that aren't on that blockchain. So that could be other cryptocurrencies, or it can be other mainstream financial assets. There's a couple groups launching an S&P 500 token and an oil token that will track those real-world assets. I heard someone describe crypto as a way to bring first world financial products and first world regulatory structure to those who don't have access to it. And I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I really like this idea of opening up access to things that many of us in the room have the ability to invest in, but a lot of others in the world don't. But they do have access to internet and cryptocurrency. So that's one of the big areas of expansion. And then Binance and BNB is a great example of using a crypto asset to help motivate and galvanize a community around a particular platform. So we've got a similar type kind of structure, a little bit different in terms of how it's being executed. So we have a token that we use on our platform that users earn when they trade and provide liquidity, and also can then stake and actually, as I mentioned earlier, run a piece of the infrastructure and earn some of the fees that the exchange is collecting. So it's all about opening up the exchange for others to help operate it, improving transparency, as well as giving back to those who are making the exchange valuable and making the marketplace happen.
Got it. Thanks, guys. And then I guess last question in this segment on growing in the crypto winter. You know, we're starting to witness a lot of consolidation in the space, both in the exchange space as well as sort of on the buy side. Chris or Jasper, whichever one of you or both would like to respond to this, what opportunities do you see in terms of consolidation or M&A in the current crypto winter?
I think the merger acquisition always a challenging job because in terms of culture, in terms of management, is very difficult. But I think there are lots of opportunity to have secure very good assets or good company. What in terms of like the valuable, that's like for example licensing. Last year, Huobi acquired a Japanese exchange called Bitrade. We are 90% stake owned by Huobi. And then we also acquire a listed vehicle in Hong Kong Stock Exchange that provide extra, like open the very important market in Japan. Mm-hmm. And so as we have extra another source of capital lower capital costs for our future growth. There's a good opportunity on that as well. And in general, I think there's have to think about the shortcomings, the challenging part, how to, the different culture stuff, how to manage the team, and how to do synergy. And once you do merge the debt company, how to do the restructuring, I think that's a challenging part as well.
Yeah. And how is that going for you in Japan, for example?
I think it's so far so good. So more good news will come. We will release soon. Yeah, thank you.
Got it. Great. Thanks.
So I just want to add on that, like last year when I was in the panel, we talked about the exchange, whether they can survive in the winter, right? And actually a lot of panel agree 80% of the smaller exchange will die because of the winter. And unfortunately, there's a Hong Kong exchange, there's an exchange in Hong Kong just now, are not able to continue their business. Mm-hmm. I think that will continue to see the same thing, like the smaller players is going to be very difficult. And I agree with Chris, is that the M&A is very difficult. I personally look at, a couple of options in the past, smaller exchange, they're actually not so well organized in terms of like the coding, there probably some security issue. So it's probably like you don't see a lot of like the big one acquire the small one, but I will be very interested to see like the medium-sized one will be merging together to compete with the bigger one like this. So We personally, like eToro, are happy, very open to see for potential M&A. So we have a fundraising round, last year. So if there are any good project, we are very open.
Great, thank you. And yeah, I think what you're referring to with the Hong Kong exchange, Gatecoin, very, very sad to see them go. They've been part of the Hong Kong community for a while here. So yeah, the crypto winter impacting many of us. Let's shift gears a little bit now and talk about an area which is maybe not quite as fun and exciting, but still necessary, which is regulation and compliance, right? And I think it's safe to say that today in the global crypto space, crypto exchanges still have some trust issues. Hacks still happen, client assets still get lost. There's still questions about wash trading, about trust, about derivative settlement being fairly conducted, and a whole host of other issues. I think it's incumbent on everyone in the crypto exchange space to work to try and improve some of these things. But I guess the first question I might pose to the panel is, vis-a-vis regulation in general, is regulation something to be embraced or something to be avoided? Karen, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on this?
Regulation is definitely not something we are not familiar with from our background. So, but look at the crypto area. At the moment, I think most importantly to the customer is they have to trade in a very safety environment. So easy to trade, easy to invest, but also be well protected. So that's the role of ourselves as an exchange to offer them that. But also, I think from regulators' point of view, if they come to build this environment to offer that safetyness in the mind of the customer, give us guidance in play ourselves, have the right level of code of conduct for our staffs, and also enable the partners like auditors, insurance companies, banks to support the business. That would be all very good. So we look at it very positively. That's why we definitely want to embrace that, and that help to bring in more customer into this area.
Got it. Thanks, Karen. On another topic, this question of wash trading, right? So there's been many studies that claim to show that a number of exchanges, including many Asian exchanges, engage in fabricated trading volumes. Teddy, I'm not suggesting that Binance is involved in this, but how do you ensure that you are not tar-brushed along with all these other perhaps lower quality exchanges with respect to this question of wash trading?
Sure. I mean, being the largest exchange by trading volume and page visit, it is always something we look at seriously. So sometimes we're handicapped or disadvantaged because we don't participate in wash trading. And there are many newcomers in the market that occasionally like to make this vanity index or vanity metrics so high that they get some eyeballs, whether on, for example, CoinMarketCap or any kind of trading volume comparison websites. We believe that's missing the point. It doesn't really matter if on the surface we look like we have less trading volume compared to the ones that have these artificially pumped exchanges, because we're not trying to have the biggest trading volume. We're just trying to make a great, secure, easy-to-use user experience and make sure the project selection is carefully selected so only the best of projects come onto Binance. And we have so much volume as a result of all those things done well, not because we try to have volume. So I think the ones who try to pump the vanity metrics, they're missing the point completely.
Understood. Alex, what does it mean to be a decentralized exchange vis-a-vis regulation? Do regulators even understand what your business model and your technology is? And are the rules that they're writing correctly sort of take into account the fact that you have a different business model?
So when crypto first started, there was a question of what is this asset class? What regulation applies? There's been more clarity on that over the past 5 years or so. We'd still like to see more, in particular from different jurisdictions around what they think about these new token models. So that's kind of one question that's being answered that's applicable to everyone on this panel. We have another level of the regulatory question because of the nature in which our platform operates. So we don't actually custody any funds. We have no role in the execution or settlement of trades. We're a software layer that allows people to interact with the Ethereum network and send authorization to a smart contract, which then brings in, it's basically all the laws that were written, they didn't anticipate digital bearer instruments that could be traded via a digital blockchain smart contract network, right? So none of them are written or kind of tailored to our business model or our unique architecture. That said, we think there's more clarity coming, and we're taking a cautious approach. We want to make sure that we're regulatory compliant in any jurisdiction in which we operate. We're working to get the broker-dealer license and ATS registration in the US. We're kind of keenly aware of how other countries are approaching this. And ultimately, we want to be regulatory compliant, even though we have a different approach to it from a technical perspective. Long term, we hope to convince regulators that actually the technology itself is self-regulating, that a lot of the concerns they have about delivery of assets, settlement, those things don't apply to our platform, and that we should be regulated or at least kind of approached and monitored in a different manner than other platforms that do have control over that process.
Great, thank you. Well, just in the couple minutes we have remaining, let's do a quick lightning round. I want to go through each of you one by one, but very quickly, starting with you, Alex. What is one thing over the next 12 months that you're super excited about in terms of either a new product, a new project, a crypto asset? What gets you going? Let's start with you.
Yeah, I guess I'll give two. First is just the creation of new financial instruments. So we saw the creation of tokens. Now there's creation of derivatives that are collateralized, tracking other asset classes. That's going to be really fascinating. A lot of that's happening on Ethereum. The other is these interoperability protocols. So that's kind of the envision, connecting all these blockchains together that truly allows for the frictionless transfer of value across different blockchains via smart contract.
Thank you. Karen?
New flows. We need new flows, and we are positive that to see the institutions and more players have trust and faith to the blockchain development and crypto industry, so new flows.
Great. Chris?
I think there's a formula for successful exchange. That's compliance, security, stableness, variable asset, liquidity, user experience, and the final one is a commission. So that's a formula how successful exchange. I think at the moment, the most exciting things should be variable assets. That's a great projects. That what we need is great projects. I think like, for example, Ethereum, that's a great project. That's changed everything for the last couple of years. So recently, there are a couple other projects that seems to boom. So I hope this kind of new project, like infrastructures for the blockchain ecosystem, can bring the changes to this industry. That's what I'm looking for.
Great. Jasper?
So I think as eToro, first of all, we don't have a token, so we cannot do the launch pack or this, but we can list your token though.
Huobi Prime.
Right.
Huobi Prime.
Yeah, Huobi Prime, launch pad. So I think the unique selling point of eToro is that we have this traditional asset class and the crypto. So what excites me is like how eToro able to bridge the traditional asset with the crypto asset, right? So I think one of the directions that we are working on is tokenizing asset. So I think this can be something very excited to the market and also to ourselves.
Great. Teddy?
What excites me the most is definitely the launch of the Binance chain. So it enables the DEX, allows more entrepreneurs around the world to more easily issue tokens, and allow their supporters to more easily trade their tokens on the DEX.
Great. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.